So we got a big road trip coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Big road trip.
Where are we headed?
So here's the hack for all the people that do weekend getaways. One thing that I found is that you have to leverage school time on Friday to add to your trip. And so it's not waiting until, after work Friday and then you get there and you're tired. Okay. So like for us, we literally dropped the kids off at school at 8 o'clock or 7:30 Friday with the car packed.
Yeah.
And we're heading out.
This is a genius idea because it's like you're shaving your babysitter time.
Exactly. Right? Let the school babysit for that day. Yes.
That's phenomenal.
And so we're there. Yeah. So, you get a little logistics, people picking up and, who's going to watch until the babysitter's, there or whatever. So,
yeah.
But
and the babysitter just runs in, picks them up, takes them to the house.
Yeah. Something like that.
Or they just figure it out.
Just figure it out. So, yeah. I mean, look, if you leave your kids at school, somebody will bring them home.
Somebody's going to take care of them.
They're going to bring them home. They're not going to leave them there for the weekend.
I did that a few times. I was supposed to pick up my daughter from the school. I looked down. My alarm didn't go off. I'm in the moment. I'm in the zone working. Yeah. And you know what? She was fine.
Yeah.
She was fine. She just wandered around, went into the gym. There was a bunch of kids hanging out.
Yeah.
School's
unsupervised.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Our only mishap, Carter was probably in first grade, and Laurie took a nap and didn't wake up.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, yeah. Like, if the school ends up calling me, there's problems. Yeah.
Well,
that means
right.
Several other people have been getting calls that didn't answer.
They didn't call me when I forgot her. They called my wife.
Yeah.
But so we got a road trip. We're headed to Fort Worth this weekend.
So you couldn't even cover it up that you forgot about your daughter.
I couldn't.
No,
there was no way.
She knew. Your wife knew.
She did. I was
so
in trouble.
Big road trip. Fort
Worth, Texas.
Yeah, we're taking this show on the road. Are we doing a live pod?
We may do a live feature, a featurette. We got a concert that we're headed to.
Yep, concert.
And I'm going to get a bit of a late start. I'm going to give a little.
So did I tell you? I have mixed feelings on this.
Okay.
But there's this movement among artists to stop letting people resell tickets.
Okay.
And so Tyler is one of them. So show sold out, but I had gotten 4 tickets.
Oh.
So I've been waiting for the sell option to come up on Ticketmaster because they're going for like triple the amount. But you can't do transfers on Ticketmaster. They have it locked down. The only thing you can do is go into a fan-to-fan portal and sell them for what you paid for. Face value.
So you can't artificially inflate the ticket prices anymore. Mm-hmm. And that was one of your side gigs. That was your 7th business.
That was, I had a bunch of VAs working for me. Taylor
Red Hot Chili Peppers, click.
Taylor Swift screwed it up for all of us.
Oh,
okay?
Taylor.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
But no, so found that out. Cool experience. Is actually probably a good thing.
I think so.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Let the everyday.
There have been a few times where I got 4 tickets, and then I sold 2, and what I made off of the 2 I sold paid for my other 2,
covered.
So I went for free. So I mean, it was I'm not doing it just to pocket the money. I still want to experience it. I just want to go for free.
It's for a good cause.
It's for a good cause. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're getting a late start.
I'm going to get a little tribute here to my grandmother has recently passed away.
Yep.
Laverne Smith Johnson. She went from being a Smith to a Johnson. Quite an upgrade in terms of a unique last name.
Yeah.
9 decades of life.
How she was 90?
I think not quite. She was almost getting there. But 9 decades of life, and really, really gentle, sweet lady. I really appreciated her growing up. We went to her house to play music and hang out with our buddies. Mm-hmm. So it was a great place to come. She was always supportive of our music.
Did she ever go to one of your shows?
I think she did go to maybe one or 2 of them.
Okay.
And so, again, tribute to her. Great life. I'm very thankful for her. Yep. You know what she did when we were a kid that I really appreciated is she would make biscuits with sausage gravy. And that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
You know, you got a little Jimmy Dean, you throw it in that gravy.
Yeah.
It's an elevated experience.
It is. Look, that's a hard, if there's biscuits and gravies on a menu, it's hard to pass up.
It is for me.
But I'll tell you, my chicken and waffles if chicken and waffles is on the menu, I'm getting it.
Okay. So is that your primal question?
If it's not biscuits, gravy, good backup.
Oh, biscuits and gravy. Come on, man.
Speaking of biscuit, when we're in DFW, we're going to hit up the biscuit bar. Maybe the last few trips we've taken to Dallas-Fort Worth, the Sunday we come back, we hit up the biscuit bar.
Oh, okay.
Hit up the biscuit bar. Yeah.
Great
Speaking
place.
of,
come to Shreveport Bossier Biscuit Bar.
Yeah, maybe they would be a sponsor.
Oh, wow. You got a spot for them.
Yeah, this would be. They're from here. They have roots here.
They're family, right? That's right.
Yeah.
So shout out there to Biscuit Bar.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so we're getting
Biscuit
into
bar.
it this week.
Yeah. So the ideal wheel. Let's let our listeners into a little something that they don't know. We have the same business coach.
True.
Aaron.
That's correct.
And so you said, we were talking, what do we want to talk about on the podcast? And you were like, well, let's do the ideal wheel. And I said, well, what's that? Mm-hmm. And you were like, wait, our coach hasn't made you do the ideal wheel?
This was day one.
Yeah.
Day one training.
So I actually had my session with him yesterday, and I asked, and he was like, look, I knew your life was so put together. Like, that would have been a waste of time. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, that would have really just given you more ego.
Right.
You grading yourself 10 out of 10 on everything.
Now it's making sense.
Yeah. So
now it's making sense.
So, anyways, and he may be coming in town in May. Maybe we could get him in here.
Him on. Yeah.
Maybe so.
That'd be great.
So the ideal wheel. So this is not a tool that was created by our coach.
No.
Right. Because I brought this up in. My wife, who's getting her master's, said that she had to do it through the university. Maybe her first class, they had to do this. Yeah. So the ideal wheel, and so you tell me, because I'm new, I just studied up on it like the past couple of days. Mm-hmm. So this is a tool that's really a tool for personal growth.
Yes.
To assess where you feel like you're at, scale of 1 to 10 on all these areas. And the idea is that you pick, well, first of all, it said, redo this like monthly and see if you've made progress.
That's right. And
for a plan for growth is once a week, you go and you pick out maybe 3 or 4 areas you want to grow, and you kind of come up with a plan of how are you going to grow in this area over the next week or so.
Yeah.
That's the plan, right? So that's the concept.
Yes. The ideal wheel. It measures your life in 7 parts.
7 parts.
Or dimensions.
Yep.
So number 1 is mental. Number 2 is social. Number 3 is spiritual. Number 4 is family. Number 5 is career. Number 6 is financial. Number 7 is health.
Yes.
And I found this to be a very helpful concept. When you talk about, what does vision for your life look like? What do you want it to be about? We're talking about business here on this podcast.
Yep.
But ultimately, life is so much more than your career.
Yep.
And what this wheel helps you understand is sort of what is your baseline in these categories? Where are you doing exceptionally well? Maybe where are you needing a little bit of help or attention to? Because, ultimately, as you cast the vision for your life, having a successful, great business is certainly one part of a successful life.
Yeah.
But it's not everything,
yep.
right? How meaningful would it be to go through life to totally rock one of these categories, but then to be absolutely bankrupt on all the rest?
Sure.
And so the concept is you measure yourself at a 1 to 10. Mm-hmm. You take a little plot point in the center of a wheel, and with each category, you basically trot out, is it 1, is it 2, is it 3, is it 4,
shade it in,
10.
Yep.
You draw it out, and then you basically trace that.
And you want it to be a perfect circle.
You want it to be a perfect circle.
So a holistic approach to
correct
personal growth.
And not only do you want it to be a circle, you want it to be a big circle.
Big circle.
Because a big wheel rolls much more efficiently than a small wheel.
Yeah, and I would even say, when I look through my life, the health of my organization, the temperament of the organization, the culture of the organization really reflects my personal growth, right? And so, if I'm having, if I'm dealing with something or in a bad spot, or I'm, me and my wife aren't getting along, right? I mean, it bleeds over.
That's on here.
Yeah, I saw it.
That's right. So or if you leave your kids at school.
So that's on here. I filled mine out yesterday.
Oh,
but
it's exciting.
You filled this out before, but we wanted to go through these and rate ourselves. Like, you wanting to say your number, what you would rate yourself at?
Well, we don't have to get in that much detail. I think the point was to understand some questions that would say, hey, rate yourself out of 10. Yeah. So looking into these categories, we can name some of them.
Let's go through all of them.
Okay.
I say we go through all of them. I'll just say the first category, which is health or physical, right? Because it says health on here, but then it says physical up here. But it's talking about your health and your physical.
Right.
Right. So, shocker for our audience, this was my lowest category.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen,
it was my lowest.
This is where we go to work.
Yes, this is where we go to work. But it was also the first one I filled out. So maybe when I was filling it, I was like, I'm being a little too critical. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Listen,
so,
I think honesty is the most important part of the exercise.
Honesty. Yep. So physical. So under each one, there's how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 10 subcategories.
Yeah, that's right.
Under each dimension. Mm-hmm. Okay, so physical. You don't have your old one with you.
I don't have my old one with me.
Okay,
no, I got a blank.
So under this, we're going to go appearance. I'm assuming this is like how you feel you
rate
look
yourself. That's right. Rate
how
yourself
you look in the mirror.
1 to 10 on your physical appearance.
Physical appearance. Okay, mm-hmm. And so if you were low on physical appearance, then maybe that means, like, you might need to get a haircut, right?
I think I'm overdue.
You might need to appearance, but I would also, this might go into how you dress, how you feel. That's like right. You dress,
That's right. That's right.
You seem like the type of guy. You have a uniform in a sense, right? You wear company shirts.
I'm a part of a team.
Yeah.
So I wear a uniform.
So you don't have to really, it makes it pretty easy, doesn't it?
You know what? It also cures decision fatigue. So when I come into the day, I know I don't have to think about it. Right?
So you're like, I wore the black shirt on Monday. I can wear it again Thursday.
That's right. That's right. It's not hard.
How many colors does your uniform shirt come in?
So currently I'm wearing 2 colors.
Okay.
Black and a sage green.
Oh, okay. I thought I had seen a blue one before.
Well, blue is really for the retail team. We have an iron gray for our sales, outside sales.
Almost like a hierarchy.
It's not a hierarchy. It's teams.
Okay.
It's teams within a team.
Okay.
It's teams within a team. But good point.
I like that. So black is the leader.
Sometimes you got to be the man in black.
Okay.
That's right.
Let me ask you this. This is just a business question. How do y'all handle uniforms? Do y'all use a company to pick up and wash and give back out, or
no?
Everybody's on their own.
No. So
when someone's hired, you give them.
We'll give a week's worth of whatever the appropriate shirt is. Yeah, mm-hmm. And then we purchase those. We hand those out. If somebody really is in need of one, and really it's more for the yard guys because they're really out getting it done. Mm-hmm. We provide the uniforms. Mm-hmm. So that's just one less expense that somebody has to deal with.
There you go. Cool. Regular checkups. I'm assuming, so this is under physical and health. Regular checkups, that would be like visiting the doctor?
I think it's a wellness check.
Wellness check.
Right.
Yeah.
So once a year, you go in to see your medical.
That was pretty low on mine.
You're not doing an annual check.
I mean, I went yesterday because I need to get some medicine refilled.
But you don't do a one time a year wellness check?
No.
Listen, that's one of the.
They did draw some blood to see what's going on with my blood.
All right, there you go. So you've got a regularly scheduled check.
Yes.
I think that's the key here.
Yeah. Energy level.
How's that?
Well, Are you a coffee guy? How do you drink coffee in the morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You drink coffee throughout the day or in the morning?
No.
Okay.
I'll go about 2 to 3 cups and then I'm done.
2 to 3 cups.
4. It's fine.
Like on the way to work or at work when you get there? Or
A mixture.
Okay.
And then, hey, shout out to a great local business. Sometimes if I'm headed to the new store, I will stop in at Coffee on the Red on Denton Road.
Yeah. My wife goes there all the time.
Give it a shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah. Let's have them on.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Put them on our list.
Good folks. Okay.
Yeah. They have good operation there.
Yes.
It was built by my buddy Andrew.
Elston. Andrew Elston.
Yeah, he built it.
Good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. Energy level. I drink coffee. I have this thing where I only drink coffee if I'm still in bed. And so it's usually on Saturday mornings only.
Okay.
When I wake up and, prop myself up.
Energy drink guy?
I drink the Bangs.
Oh.
They're getting hard to find though. And they're expensive.
You need those B vitamins, buddy.
Yeah. So I'm usually 1 in the morning.
Okay.
1 in the afternoon.
You're a two bang a day guy.
Listen.
Wow.
Let me just say this. I need that extra pick me up before I get home.
Right.
4 kids.
I get it.
I got to have that energy. If not, I'm going to be dozing off early.
I think this is where the followers start picking up, learning this.
Yeah. Okay. So energy level. Planned recreation.
How about the next 2? You can loop them together, right?
Yeah. I really put that as my lowest one. Planned recreation.
Sports participation. Me too.
Yeah. I mean, it's the lowest one. It's like, I mean, I would love to play golf once a week. But where do you have 5 hours?
You don't. Or be a part of a sports league. I mean, that sounds great, but there's no way.
Yeah.
I live in Grand Cane.
If you're going to be a part of a sports league at your age, give me a couple options.
I mean, I think, so there's close to the new store, your alma mater has been reformed. Trinity Heights Christian Academy. Eagles has been changed to a sports complex.
Correct.
Where you can go and play pickleball or something like that. Now, I haven't tried this, but I really want to try it. That sounds fun.
Pickleball?
That sounds like something you could do at lunch.
Yeah. So that's definitely, that's in your age bracket for sure.
Yeah.
Bowling might be another one.
I don't know about bowling.
Not bowling?
No. It's the shoes. I just can't.
You know, when I was in college, one of the funnest things, we played bocce ball.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've seen a bocce ball game?
I know. I got a set at my house. I got a set at my house.
I mean, maybe we bring that back.
Oh, I like.
Maybe let our listeners see if we want to get a little.
That's right.
A little weekly game going. All right. Another big one in college was ultimate frisbee, but I don't know. I mean, that might be too active for me at this stage of life. All right. Yeah. So sports participation.
Yeah.
Planned recreation, sports participation.
And we don't have to touch all of these, but it's just trying to
regular
give people
fitness program. You have a regular workout routine.
I rank myself pretty high on this.
Yeah.
Normally 6 times a week, I've got some kind of cardio or weights going.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going 3 times a week.
Okay.
Weight control. That was actually a high one for me, just because the past year and a half I've eaten nothing but meat. It's been pretty good.
Carnivore.
So yeah. Diet, nutrition.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Is it bad for you?
One. Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure there?
Sweet tea, number 1. So I'm usually taking in about 45 ounces a day.
Hey, with that coffee, with the coffee, are you putting sugar in that too?
No.
Okay.
No,
it's just black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless it's the sweet coffee tea on the red. Sweet tea is my biggest vice in life.
Like you can't. Yeah. Is it just gross for you to go like unsweet tea and put a sweet and low in there or something?
I've done it. I've done it. But I don't get that like hit of sugar, cocaine in my brain.
Yeah. So you're sweet tea at lunch, sweet tea at dinner.
No, definitely not. Just at lunch. And like I said, I like to load up. I like to go big.
Got it. Where's your favorite sweet tea in town?
Well, there's a few.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what? I tell you, Chipotle is surprisingly good.
Okay.
Nuke's feels like they've been a little watered down here lately.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A is always strong.
Nuke's, I like Nuke's because they have the Splenda tea.
Oh, get out.
Well, I do the I do half unsweet, half the Splenda tea.
Get out.
Okay.
Abomination.
They do have good ones. You know what is frustrating is when you go to like a Southern restaurant, it's like, oh yeah, we're Southern, we're Cajun, we're whatever.
Yeah.
And you go in and they just have like that Nestea tea.
Oh,
you're like,
the premix.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, that's not,
terrible. That's
take
a
the
cheap
sign
way
down.
out. That's a cheap way
exactly.
out. Okay.
All right.
Stress control.
Cane's has good tea.
Oh, Cane's is great tea.
Yeah,
I love Cane's.
good tea.
Yep.
Stress control.
Oh, how you doing on that? 0 to 10. What'd you give yourself?
I actually gave myself a 7. That's pretty high for me.
Good.
Yeah, stress control.
Good. Yeah.
Yep.
I would say mine is much improved because of these other things.
Yeah.
Sleep. Exercise.
Oh yeah. Leaving your kid at school.
Not sweating the small stuff.
Not sweating small stuff.
Stress control is definitely increased for me.
Yes.
I'm very thankful for
Yes. And look, next week might be a 4.
That's right. That's right.
Yesterday, I felt like it was a 7.
Well, good.
Yeah.
All right. So physical.
Cardio. Yep.
Yeah,
So physical.
yeah.
All right. We're good.
So the key is that as part of a successful life, as part of a life worth living, that, paying attention to this physical element of your life, there's great reward, there's great benefit for you.
Yep.
And, understanding where that stacks up within the rest of your life is a big part of the ideal wheel.
Yeah.
So there's a reason.
So the goal is to add up all your numbers, all 10 numbers, and then divide that by 10. It gives you a overall ranking.
Yeah. For what'd you give yourself? 5.
So my overall was 5.1.
Okay, so
for physical
on the circle. So we come up from the center, and then we're going to draw
5 spots.
5 spots on physical.
Yep.
So that.
You're going to draw my circle for me. I like it. I skipped that part. I could visualize it, but no, I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
You do my circle for me.
Okay.
Hey, I was thinking if we wanted to take our time a little bit here, this episode could turn into a 2-parter.
Okay.
If we want to work, we'll just see when. Let's just go through it.
Let's just let this happen.
Let's let it happen.
Organic content. Next up, spiritual.
All right, spiritual.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Yeah, belief in God.
Belief in God. Okay, so this is a 0 through 10.
This is a 0 through 10.
Okay, I'm going to need you to give me
belief in God.
I feel like this is, well, you know what? I mean, I think it's okay to say.
So here's what I was thinking.
Strong 8.5.
Here's what I was thinking. Is just like, how often do I ask myself, is there really a God?
More than you think.
More than you think.
More than you think.
So if it was 20% of my time, I gave myself an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, and
so 80% of the time, I'm believing in God.
I think that I certainly think that wrestling with your faith
Correct.
is
a
huge part of an authentic spiritual life.
Yeah.
I'm probably more like a 9. I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable to live. Yeah. If I'm wrong, I'm comfortable
to live
in the affirmative.
This is a hard one. Right, yeah.
I'm fine just saying, you know what? If he's not real, then I'm good. I'm good this way.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And we, our background, we both grew up in very religious homes.
Very
strict, religious,
kind of
fundamental.
Yes.
Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist.
Yes.
That's right.
In fact,
that's right.
My early formative years, we were Independent Baptist, which was pretty much a cult. I think a documentary came out about it not too long ago. Yeah.
If you're a member of a church that has a state name and you're a Baptist, look out, buddy. I'm an Arkansas Baptist.
Oh yeah.
Buckle up.
Yes, this was an Independent Baptist. No makeup. I didn't see my mom wear pants until we switched to Southern Baptist. Like
is she wearing pants now? Because she's a listener. So
yeah.
Is she wearing pants now?
Yeah, she wears pants now. She converted. Probably around the 4th grade. But of course, I'm like, oh. The first time we went to a church, I remember my dad took his first position. He was a pastor.
Yeah.
So we went from Independent Baptist to Southern Baptist. Okay. And he took a church in Haynesville, Louisiana. Okay. And so we are Independent Baptist, very strict, dress, no makeup, ties to church on Sunday. My dad would mow the grass with a tie on in case anybody drove by and saw him, so very, very strict Independent Baptist, right? And so we go to Haynesville, to this church, and like one of the main deacons' kids show up and they have a rat tail. And I'm like, whoa, sinners here. Because, hey, tapered only here, buddy, high and tight, So
it wasn't 6 months later Until you were rocking a full-fledged rat tail.
It was part of my moral decline. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. Started listening to country music.
Yeah. Alan Jackson.
Exactly.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah. So here we go.
Okay.
All right. So belief in God, inner peace. What does that mean to you?
As a component of the spiritual element in life, I think that inner peace is the acceptance that you are not in control. The acceptance that there is, a higher power who is interested in you, cares about you, and wants the best for you. And to ultimately, it's a level of acceptance with whatever the circumstances are coming your way.
Yeah.
So
I didn't take the time to unpack that and self-reflect. So I just went with a strong 5 on it. 5 out of 10, right down the middle.
If you can't define it, that's fine.
Yeah, just put a 5.
How about these next two? We
Influence
just
on others.
Together. Or spousal relationship. Yeah.
Well, mine are not the same number, so it's hard to.
Okay.
Come
as you are. Come as you are.
Spouse relationship. Yeah, influence on others. So influence on others, that we're under the spiritual category, and you'll see some of these pop up in several categories, right? So it's kind of hard to pick and choose where it's at, right? Because especially if you are a believer, you are strong in your faith, and that is part of your daily and weekly, life and part of
practice.
What you do, practice, then it's really holistic, like you would say, right? Mm-hmm. And so if there is a, moment of crisis or a opportunity to bring something spiritual into one of my businesses, I do that, right? And one of the things we do is our sales meetings at the real estate company. We open it with prayer and a scripture reading or a little devotion. And so we've had other people come out from other brokerages and they're like, how do you get away with that? Like, how do you do that? We're like, well, we've just always done it.
We just do it.
Yeah. And so, but it's kind of hard but then we also know the ones that say, well, I go to church, I do this, but then they operate their business a total different way.
Right. Are you a Christian rock band, or are you a Christian in a rock band?
Yeah. Are you Audio Adrenaline, or are you Lifehouse?
Okay.
Yeah. POD.
I think we just won podcasting. We just won. It's over. Shut it down.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. So influence on others. I would just say, influence on others. I wouldn't say influence as like coercing people into believing what you believe.
Yeah.
But do you have influence? Can you, do people come to you when they're in pain or hurting? Do they look to you for guidance, on a spiritual level? Do you? That's what I'm thinking when I read that. Okay.
And you know what? I'm always torn between this because, when you come up the way we did, there's so much sort of teaching and preaching that's oriented around, go tell it on the mountain.
Yeah.
And yell it everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I think that I always kind of have that programming going on in my mind, and I always feel a little guilty. But ultimately, the other side of that coin is, you're the way you live. And to your point, have you created the groundwork for somebody to come to you and talk to you about problems or things like that?
Yeah. It's what's your motive, right?
Yeah.
And we grew up in a setting that was the bait and switch, right?
Yeah.
Hey, free pizza. All right, everybody full? Got enough pizza? You're going to hell.
That's right. But listen, honestly, would it kill you to have donuts?
Yeah.
Would it kill you to have donuts at church because maybe I missed breakfast?
Yeah.
I don't call that a bait and switch. I just call that extra bennies, baby.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be healthy food. We know that.
Okay. That's right.
But no. So, what I guess that's really what's the end goal there. Spouse relationship.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because, we know that to have a dialed in spiritual life with your spouse does create incredible alignment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I think we find so many excuses.
Yes.
We started a devotional because of this and some of the goal planning I'd done. Okay. I started a little nightly read a quick devotional to my wife and daughter, a little prayer time. And it's been a good experience. It's been a really good experience. So I've taken the ideal wheel and actually said, you know what, I could do better with this in terms of my family, and let me start this habit. And we run Monday through Fridays. Okay. So Saturday and Sundays we take off. Okay. But so far it's been a good experience. So the ideal wheel has helped me in this area.
Church involvement. We used to go to the same church.
We did.
Yeah, you were my soundboard protege.
I have not hated a job more than anything.
Like Josh.
Than that sound
Josh,
job.
I need somebody to get on sound whenever I'm going out of town, out of town.
What?
And sure enough.
And you go out of town every weekend.
Sure enough. Sunday, about 9 o'clock, FaceTime coming through, right?
Leighton,
hey, look.
The mic doesn't work. Leighton, help me. Where does this cord go? Yeah. I hated that job. And that's why I left.
Yeah.
That's why I left. Moving on.
Okay.
Sense of purpose, attitude towards giving, prayer and Bible study, charitable work, sharing with others. All these gives you the opportunity to look at your life and say, hey, how am I doing here? Charitable work for me is really tough, making the time on the weekends to go and volunteer at the soup kitchen or the hub.
Well, you think, when you're thinking giving away, right? You can either give away your money, give away your time, give away your possessions.
Well, and let's call this what it is. And I don't want to belittle giving money because I think it's huge. I mean, people depend on this money to do their work. Yep. But I think that sometimes it's very easy for somebody to just write a check rather than really go and do the work to help these places, right? Yeah. It's just so easy to go, okay, here's $100 or here's $200.
So you're saying whenever we have a church work day, I can't just send some of my employees on my behalf?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. It is harder to know. And listen, I'm going to make a pitch for the barbecue event coming up May 11th at Ivy's.
Yes.
And we had someone who's helping us with marketing, Kaylee Pledge. She's doing a great job.
Yep.
She went to get some understanding on House of Grace because House of Grace is one of our the people we're sponsoring through this fundraiser. Yep. She came back and she was telling me things about House of Grace I had no clue. And I was just thinking, man, we've been a sponsor for this charitable work in our community for 3 years now, and I didn't even know this. I didn't even know that the girls had this need. But here I am going, hey, look at me, we're raising money for this great thing. Yeah. So sometimes giving money is great, but I would say other times, do you know what's going on? Is it too easy to give money? What do you think?
Well, I definitely can understand that. I most of my money goes to my church, and then they have missions that they support. I gotta trust the leadership to send that where they send that.
Okay.
I think that well, first of all, let's say this: we do have some great nonprofits in Shreveport-Bossier.
We do,
right? And so one of our long-term standing relationships has been with Cassie at the Hub.
Yes.
And I grew up with Cassie, and the Hub is just unbelievable what they do for the homeless and the lower income people here in downtown Shreveport, and they just have an awesome operation. So we have a lot of people serving. Our church serves there every Sunday night, serves a meal, and I haven't been in like over a year. So
where did you rate yourself on charitable work? Mine was pretty low. I'm going to be honest. Mine was pretty low.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? Because even your local church, that is somewhat a charitable work, right? Or not? I mean, you're giving. It's a nonprofit. You're serving at a nonprofit.
Well, okay.
I'm not talking about like just attending.
Well, I think church involvement's another category. So
church involvement. Yep.
Yeah. So either way. Okay. So your spiritual. What was your spiritual number? What'd you come up with?
Mine is a 6.7.
6.7.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and draw that out on the ideal wheel.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, great. So we're moving on.
Yep.
Tell me about the next category.
Next one is mental, and I feel like, this verse, since we're coming off the spiritual, right? But the verse that says, your battle's not with flesh and blood, right? It's with the powers of principalities or whatever, right? So it's really a spirit thing, right? It's not talking about actual, physical people you're fighting with, but really it's in your mind, right? It's in your soul, it's in your mind. And so I feel like the biggest hurdle I see in business does come down to the mental aspect of it. If we're bringing it back to business, is having your mentally being present, focusing, healthy, right? That's like a big buzzword these days, right? Mental health.
Sure.
Like that's like people's hobby now. It's like, what are your interests? Mental health.
Right.
Like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
But, it's true.
I do therapy 4 times a week. No, I don't. I'm just saying, this is the trend, right? The trend is just.
Yes. And then it kind of goes into, it can also be turned into, mentally I'm not healthy, so I need some days off work. Yeah. Right. You're like, that's tough, right? How do you gauge that?
Yeah. Can I get a note? Or something?
I woke up this morning really triggered. Right. I'm going to need a day off.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So anyways, mental health. So I'm not belittling that. The mental health is important. I feel like there are a lot of tools out there. I feel like, as men, we tend to hold things in. Yes. And when we internalize it, and so whenever we are struggling or we're not in a good place, or there might be depression, or there might be you're just in a funk, we typically don't go and share that with people.
Right.
We just internalize it, and it's really hard to get yourself out of there.
And it festers. And
it festers, it builds, and then it'll lead to resentment, bad habits, whatever. So, so first one under mental is your attitude.
How would you rate your attitude?
Yesterday I put it as an 8.
So strong.
A strong attitude, yeah. And so I have this ability to see incremental growth and incremental positives in things. And so, but it is a shift, and I was not there a year and a half ago for sure. And so that's probably, if I was going to say, the biggest gain for me from our business coach has been on this, having the right attitude.
It's funny that you mentioned that exact thing, because I think that I would say exactly the same on why I feel like my attitude has improved is recognizing incremental change. Yeah. And recognizing how important it is, and being able to walk out the door, because every time I walk out the door, there's always this feeling of, oh my gosh, we need to be better at this. We need to be better at this. Yeah. We need to be better at this. And that's always true.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, being able to recognize and celebrate, like, hey, look at this one little thing that we improved on today. Sure. Look at this one little thing.
Or even just saying, hey, this is what I keep telling my team. Are we where we want to be? Absolutely not. Is it ideal that we're not there? No, it's not ideal, but it is our realistic situation. However, are we better off than we were 30 days ago? Yes.
Yeah.
Are we better off we were 60 days ago? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just reminding, it's because we have this mindset that there's going to be this point of arrival where everything is perfect, and it is not. In fact, the bigger you become, the more successful you become, the more crap goes wrong you got to deal with.
That's right.
So for me, one of the things that I do with attitude when crisis happens or the ideal situation is not taking place, I try to think 30 days from now, what positives are going to come out of this situation, right? And so it's really a growing opportunity, especially whenever it's something just out of your control, right? Well, what can we control in this situation? Well, we can control what we learn from it.
Right.
We can control our attitude in it.
Yes.
And and like I said, I think I said this last week, but it's a thermostat. We're a thermostat, not a thermometer. And so our attitude is like someone walking up to a thermostat to see what it's set on. That's what our attitude does for everybody around us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. Recognizing those small gains or learning to concentrate on that and celebrate that has brought real enjoyment to my work.
Yeah.
In a way that, I've never quite had. So look, for anybody, if anybody wants to enjoy their job more, I would suggest looking and celebrating little wins.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there's only one thing on here that I actually scored over a 10.
Intelligence.
I had an 11. Yes. Yeah. So
So intelligence. Listen, at the end of the day, you can measure this, but there's not much you can do, right?
No. Well, I think you could break it down into like emotional intelligence.
Okay.
I think it's, people skills, right? The book, The Ideal Team Member, it's like you want humble, hungry, and smart. And their smart is like smart with people, smart in handling a situation with emotions, right?
Yes.
And so I think that would be kind of where I would go with that on intelligence. But, I would also say this too, my business partner at Berkshire Hathaway, Adam, I always say he is the most knowledgeable person in real estate I've ever met, right? And he's just his IQ in real estate is just off the charts.
It's a good partner.
Yes.
Good partner
great
for
partner.
you.
Yes.
With an intelligence of 11,
Yes.
That's powerful.
Yes. Yes. All right.
The next two are
formal education.
pretty similar, right?
Yeah, continuing
education.
In my field of work, I have to do 12 hours of continuing education, usually on the last week of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. We've talked about this, but just going to conferences, learning. I feel like most of podcasts has really changed the landscape of learning and intake of information. Mm-hmm. And so, used to, I would have a hard book up on my steering wheel reading it while I was driving. Now I just listen to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Or, you could have your spouse read to you.
Mm-hmm.
In the car.
Done that too.
Yeah.
Intelligence.
Yes.
Okay.
Continuing education training. I put a 5 there because I didn't have time to process how much I was actually doing. Creative imagination. I put an 8 there. In fact, in my coaching session, that was really my sweet spot in the organization, is to be able to look at a 30,000 foot view, to be above the clouds, to really think of, hey, big concepts, where are we going, what's next, how can we grow. However, I'm always battling daily operation, fires to put out, all of that, right? And so
yeah. Well, I think what this is pointing at is allowing yourself the space. To stare at the wall.
Yes. And not only allowing yourself the space, but not feeling guilty about it. That's what I struggle with a long time. Is like, if I'm not doing and I can't get to the end of the day and say I did this.
Right.
And it's like, oh yeah, what did you do this afternoon? Well, I just, went for a walk and thought.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you didn't earn your money there, buddy.
That's right. It's so easy to feel guilty on that.
Yeah.
No
So
question.
you almost have to give permission, is like that. Nobody else in my organization is doing that, is thinking in broad concepts and what's next.
Right.
Somebody has to be doing that.
Absolutely.
Right? Because then you're just going to plateau and start going backwards. Inspirational reading.
And with digital education, you said podcast.
I'd say inspirational listening.
Yeah,
it's
all
this podcast.
It's all
Busy Smalls.
Well, that's right. Listen, if you're looking for actionable content that can improve your business, look no further.
Yes.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Digital education, DVDs, CDs, DVDs. Aaron, let's update this.
I'm pretty low on that one.
All right. Inquisitive mind. What does that mean to you? That's a hard one.
Having an inquisitive mind, to me, means that you're always thinking about and curious about possibilities. So those possibilities could be within your business or within the people that work at your business or within, different opportunities that may come up.
Yep.
But to be inquisitive is really to be curious. And I think that cultivating that is important.
Yeah.
It's one way to show people that you care, that you're curious about them. But ultimately, an inquisitive mind doesn't just take what's at face value.
Yeah.
They're willing to look beneath the surface.
Yep.
And I think that's where sometimes some of the greatest answers are not just on the surface, right?
Yeah. In fact, yesterday in our session when we were talking about that, me having more space to think, and Aaron said, well, what are the questions you're asking yourself in that time? And this came back from, years ago, 20 years ago, I read a book by Andy Stanley. I've read several of his books. I can't remember which one this was in, but he said every leader in an organization should be asking on a daily basis what could be and what should be. And those are kind of like stuck with me, right?
Yeah.
Like what could be in what I have going on or in this market or whatever, and then what should be happening, steps I should be taking to make that could be take place.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yep. So you can use it.
Yeah, well,
hey, use it at a team meeting before this podcast comes out, because then they're going to know.
The last two, enthusiasm, and then self-image and self-esteem.
Yes. So I feel inside that I'm enthusiastic, but it doesn't always come across.
That's exactly right.
Yes,
that's
because
exactly right.
I'm excited to solve the problem racing through my head.
Yes.
But what comes across is, wow, he's really stressed out. He's like, just walk right past me. Right? Do you feel that?
No, and you know what? I am so enthusiastic about what we do. I think it's just exactly like you said. It's harder to demonstrate that because I'm not very naturally effusive. I'm not walking around just pumping Steve Ballmer and everybody, freaking out.
Yeah.
That's not my nature.
Well, unless you're performing.
Well, okay,
there
you go. That's fair.
And it's funny because I knew you from coming to church. Well, we knew each other from our glory days.
Basketball wars.
We left a lot of blood, sweat, and tears out on that court.
That's right.
The court at Central is just smaller than it should be.
It's a little tight.
Yeah, and I wear a size like 15 shoes. And so when I was setting up for the corner
that baseline three,
I had like an inch on either side. Yeah, it was not easy.
Secret weapon.
Yeah. So, but I knew you through church for probably a year.
Or the panic look on my face.
We reunited
while running the soundboard.
Yes. So we reunited. Oh, Josh, we made connections. We're hanging out, and I see you as a laid back business owner, just chill guy to be around. And your band was doing a show, and it was a different person on stage.
Some
you
have
put
said.
it on. Yeah.
Some have said.
Well, it's funny. Well, what was really funny was leading up to it. I'd call you and you're out of breath. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh man, I was jumping around upstairs in the music room trying to get ready to be in shape for the show. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then it made sense.
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah. So, anyways, enthusiasm, self-image, self-esteem. Yeah. Again, I didn't really want to self-reflect yesterday, so I put a 5.
Okay.
But,
well, look, we got work to do here. We got work to do. So give me your total mental category.
6.8.
You scored a 6.8. So as we come to the little circle, we're going to draw out 6.8 on mental.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we've got 3 out of the 4 categories. Yep. So we're just wrapped up the mental category, and I think we've gone fairly long today.
Yes. We're going to leave on enthusiasm.
Yeah, let's leave enthusiastic on a high note. We're going to come back and cover these other categories: career, financial, social, and family on the next episode.
Yep.
This concludes the Busy Small Part 1 of the Ideal Wheel.